Alright, let's look at our integers checkpoint here. I'm going to go over the answers to this, so follow along in case you were absent or missed this in class or want to go over it again. First question is to graph the following integers on a number line. So number 1, negative 12. So I'm just going to start here at the 0. I'm going to kind of count through. There's negative 5, negative 10, negative 15. So negative 12 is going to fall somewhere between there. It's going to be a little bit closer to negative 10 than negative 15. So I'm just going to put a point on the line, and then I'm going to mark it negative 12 so I know that that's what you have marked on your test. Number 2 is 7. That's a positive 7, so that's going to be between 5 and 10, a little bit closer to 5. So again, I'm going to put a point on the line, and I'm going to label it. That's what the label is right there. Number 3, I'm going to go to negative 6. That's negative 5. Negative 10, it's going to be real close to negative 5 to the left, so it's going to be negative 6. And then number 4 is negative 8, so that's again going to be between negative 5 and negative 10. This one's going to be closer to negative 10. So I'm going to put that there, and negative 8. And those are my answers to graphing my integers. Okay. Next part, comparing using less than, greater than, or equal to. First question is negative 5 is what? Negative 8. Okay, I'm going to refer to my number line up here. I have my negative 5, I have my negative 8. Well, numbers on the right, as we go to the right, they're greater than. Okay, as you go to the left, they're less than. So negative 8 is to the left of negative 5, or negative 5 is to the right of negative 8. Numbers to the right are greater than. So my greater than symbol is going to be this one right there. So that's going to be greater than. Negative 5 is greater than negative 8. Number 6, again, I'm going to refer to my number line. I have negative 6, which is right here, and I have 10, which is right here. Well, 10 is to the right, negative 6 is to the left, so to the left is less than, so that's going to be less than. Now this one you probably don't need a number line to find. Negative numbers are always less than positive numbers, and vice versa is true. Positive numbers are always greater than negative numbers. Okay, next part, order from least to greatest. I'm going to kind of make a mock number line on here to help me organize these from least to greatest. So I'm just going to draw a little number line there, and I'm going to kind of place my numbers. So I'm going to put a 0 on there, and then I'm just going to write, okay, 23 is going to be over here, negative 43 is way out here, negative 13 is going to be about right there, 0 is going to be 0, it's already labeled, 5, then it's going to be right here, and negative 29 is going to be between negative 13 and negative 43, so negative 29. Now I have mine in order between, and from least to greatest. So now I'm just going to write them. Negative 43, negative 29, negative 13, 0, 5, and 23. Okay, you can also just go in order. Start with your negative numbers first. Place them. Okay, negative 43, negative 29, negative 13. Look to see if there's a 0, which would be next. And then you work with your positives to get the 5 and the 23. And 5 is less than 23, so that's what you go. Make sure you go from least to greatest and pay attention to the directions. Okay, for an 8 through 10, all you have to do is name the opposite. Okay, that means the negatives become positive, positives become negative. So the opposite of negative 25 is positive 25. The opposite of 0 is 0. Okay, it's the only number that's the same. And the opposite of 12 is negative 12. Remember with 0, there is no negative 0. So the opposite of 0 is just 0. Okay, moving to the back. Adding integers. Okay, when we add integers, remember we're going to make a mock number line. Okay, so 0, I'm going to go to negative 12. And then from there, I'm going to go negative 23 more spaces, which means they're going in the same direction. So I add them together, and that is going to be negative 35. This mock number line is just telling us which direction we're going. For number 12, I make my mock number line starting 0. I go to 30, and then negative 13 18 means I go back 18 spots. That's going to end up, that's less than 30, so it's going to still be positive, but they're going opposite directions, so I subtract them, and when I subtract them, I get 12. 30 minus 18 is 12. For number 13, make my mock number line. I go to negative 11, and then the second one says me to go 19, Okay, for number 13, I got my mock number line here, so I go to 0, and then I go to negative 11. Okay, and the second number tells me to go to 19, so I go back to 19, which is more than 11, so I'm going to end up in positive. Now, I went 19 spots. Since they go in opposite directions, I subtract them. That's 8, and I ended up in the positive. I have more positives than negatives, so it's positive 8. Okay, moving on to subtracting. Number 14, and make my mock number line. So for the first one, I go to negative 15. So it's going to be here. And then the second number, I do the opposite, okay, of 31. 31 normally means go to the right. The opposite, it means go 31 more. So I'm going to go 31 more, which means they're going in the same direction. So it's going to be negative 46. For number 15, I make my number line. I get 30. Okay, oops, 0, sorry. And then I go to 30. That's going to be this way. And then the second number, this means opposite of negative 22. Normally, negative means go to the left. This is opposite, so I'm going to go to the right. So I go 22 more spots that way, which means I add them together, and I get 52. For number 16, I'm going to go to negative 17 first. And then the second number says the opposite of negative 10. Normally, negative 10 goes to the left. The opposite goes to the right. It's going to be less than 17, so I don't quite make it back over. But they're going in opposite directions, which means I subtract them. That's 7. And since I'm still on the negative side, that's negative 7. All right, and our rules for multiplying and dividing are different. Okay, same sign, positive. If they both have the same sign, then your answer is positive. If they both have different signs, your answer is negative. 8 times 4 is 32. Same sign, positive 32. Number 18, 9 times 3 is 27. They each have one different signs, so your answer is negative. Negative 27. Number 19, 50 divided by 10 is 5. They have the same sign, so your answer is positive. And number 20, 35 divided by 7 is 5. They have different signs. They have the same sign, so you have a positive answer, so it's positive 5. Okay, have a good night.